Welcome once again to my kitchen and another cooking session with the Naked Engineer versus the Naked Chef. Today we're going to cook something nice and simple. We're going to cook roasted vegetables in the oven, of course, with a Lighter Life meal as part of my Tier 1 Lighter Life diet, which so far in a period of over 7 weeks I've lost nearly 21 kilos, which is good. So first of all, I'll show you the ingredients of what we're going to use. Okay, there's all the ingredients. We got little baby cherry tomatoes, a dash of raw ginger, an aubergine, half a croquette, a couple of mushrooms, some garlic, onion, pepper, the Lighter Life meal, and the spices that are going to be added. The chili and the garlic add to taste. So if you like it nice and strong and spicy, put a lot in. If you don't put a lot in. Simple as that. Okay, first of all, I'm going to finely chop the onions. I'm going to do a couple of shallots to put into the tomato sauce, and 1 onion to go into the pot for roasting. Now, I'm cooking this meal for 2, and it should last my cooking skills about 2 days. So here we go. Finely chop the shallot. Okay, finely chop it up. Make sure it's all finely diced. Playing chicken with my fingers, so be careful when you're chopping. Okay. If you're under 18, which I guess you're not, make sure you're under parental supervision when using sharp objects like a knife. Okay, so here we go. Okay, nearly ready, all finely diced up and chopped up. Okay, all nicely done. When the onions are chopped up, put them into the pan. Ready for roasting. So there we go, slide that over and scoop them into the pan. Okay, cut up the onion. I'm going to cut this up for roasting, so cut them into quarter wedges so they can go nicely into the pan. So, all right, there we go. And then 1/4 dice up finely to put in with the spring onions. Okay. Now we chop up, say, half a chili, add according to taste. So if you don't want it, I'm only putting enough in for just a bit of warmth, so it'll be probably just half of that. Okay, just to add a little bit of warmth into the chili. There we go, and then put that into the pan. Okay, now what we're going to do is put some fresh tomatoes into the sauce, cut them up nicely. Okay, so they break down easier. Okay, here we go. Mix them all up, chop it up finely. So we've got a nice mixture of tomatoes. And what we do is we put a packet of chopped tomatoes in just to liquefy it and quantify it a bit more. Okay, the tomatoes are all chopped and diced up. We'll put those in the bowl along with a packet of ready-made chop, just to bulk it up a bit. Okay, so there we go, empty all that in. Okay, there we go, put that all in, nicely done. Get a little bit of water to swirl it around. Just a little bit of water to swirl it, and we'll put the remainder in, and then put in the fresh tomatoes, okay, that have all been finely diced up. So in they go. Yeah, there you go, lovely. As I said, this will make, I'm cooking for 2, but there's about 4 portions, 5 portions, 2 days worth, so it can be frozen. Okay, so put it in a sealed bowl or Tupperware and freeze. Okay, now what we do is we just stir it all in. That's all mixed up, and then we put some herbs in. Again, you put as much in as according to taste, but it does make a big difference to the flavour. So we stir that up. Okay, I'm going to put some parsley in. I'm going to put some chives in. There we go, my favourite chives. Be generous, don't be skint on this. Put some basil in, or basil as we say, basil as the Yanks say. And last but not least, put some coriander in. Okay. Oops, can't get the top off the seal. There we go. It's off now. That should be enough. Okay, mix that all in. And put it onto a high heat for about 2 minutes, just to get the juices flowing. Okay, put that onto a high heat. Stir it so it doesn't stick to the bottom. That'll take seconds to bubble up. There we go. Okay, while everything's cooking away, the sauce will take about an hour to do. As I said, this is part of my Tier 1 Lighter Life diet. It's helping maintain a healthy body and a healthy mind. And while I'm looking for work, it keeps me occupied and takes my mind of all the other bad habits that I carry out. So I like doing my cooking, and this is my favourite drawer, my spice drawer, herbs, with all the herbs and spices. And then in here we have all the various different cooking oils and vinegars and sauces, a lot of Asian stuff, as I like doing Asian cooking. So as I said, there's all my herbs and spices, and they get used very often. So sit back and wait. Okay, while the sauce is getting ready, I'll start preparing the vegetables that are going to go roasted in the oven. So I'm going to start off with the mushrooms, just cut them in half. They'll shrink down later. Okay, as I say, remember, this is not just for me. This is for 2 people. We probably won't eat the whole plate. We'll end up leaving half of it. With the garlic, just give them a good crush, so it opens everything up and lets the flavours out. Okay. Okay, then we get the aubergine. What we're going to do here is put this down into slices. Get rid of the bits that we don't need. So what I'm going to do is about 1/4 inch slices, so they grill nicely. Alright, yeah, about finger width. Okay, so they sit in the Pyrex dish and roast very nicely. There we go, that's the aubergines cut up. Then we do the croquette, again, nice thick chunks, so they don't shrivel down once they're being roasted. Okay, so we've got that done, and then cut up a bell pepper, cut round it, so we get all the seeds out. Take the seeds out. Okay, everything in there. Just take the seeds. There we go. Okay, what I'm going to do now for the aubergines is grill the pan, a couple of squirts of 1 cow oil. Yeah, just all this is just going to give it some sort of colourful black marking decorations. Okay, so we put them in. Okay, put them in nicely there, and then put the mushrooms in as well to tan them up. Not long, just a couple of seconds, then just go into the oven to nicely grill up. Okay. At the same time, check on your sauce, make sure it's going well. This is just going perfect. Get it all reduced so it's a nice thick creamy sauce. Remembering it's all nice fresh ingredients, no additives, no preservatives, no nothing like that, all fresh. Okay, now just turn them over, and that should be nice and round. There we go, that's what we want. Just a bit of colourful decoration onto the aubergines. Just give it a bit of, there we go, just nice. Okay, turn them over. There we go. Turn the mushrooms over. Don't want to do them too long, just a bit of all it is just decoration basically before they go into the oven. Okay. We've taken the dish out of the oven, which is steaming hot. We're placing our vegetables. Stand back, so it's going to be hot. Yep. There we go. The aubergines in. Okay, now we put in our red bell pepper. So put them in at the side, down the side. Until these are all nicely soft and browned. Put them in. Put your onions in. Your croquettes in. Basically, just put everything in. Okay. There we go. Tomatoes in. Let all the flavours spread out. garlic over the top for flavour. And go into my wonderful spice drawer and get some paprika out. It adds just a little bit of flavour into the stuff. Also, I'm going to put some tarragon over the side, some herbs. Okay, there we go. Right. Put some paprika in. And that's all ready to put back into the oven. Now that is ready to go into the oven, and we'll roast those for about 45 minutes. Don't put them too high at the heat. Turn the heat down to about 150. That should just do nicely, and everything's just to soften up and brown. If they're not brown and softened, then they're not ready. Okay, now the best thing to do now is obviously check on all the ingredients. As you can see, the sauce is going nicely. It's thickening up. Now a little tip here, don't use a blender to purify it, don't, because it looks horrible. But then just give it a quick mash just to sort of grind all the stuff down. So it's got a little bit of crunch in it, a little bit of taste, and it's well. So while that's all being done, turn the heat down to 3, okay? Listen to music, and while I'm doing all that, I am going to watch a bit of TV and see what I can see what's on there, and see what the American electoral presidency is going. So. Okay, everything's nearly ready to come out of the oven. They've all been done nicely, as you will see right here. Okay, all done. Oops, one steamed up mirror. Oops, daisy. So now what I've got to do is prepare my lighter life part of the meal and cook and reheat Sheila's meatballs from yesterday that she doesn't eat. Now you have to remember that during the time of lockdown, or in my case looking for work, it's always very important to maintain a healthy lifestyle by keeping a healthy body and a healthy mind. So it's always good to keep yourself occupied, like I'm doing when I'm not looking for work, is doing my cooking. It gives me enjoyment and helps me cook what I want to maintain a healthy lifestyle and keep my weight down. So here we go, we start getting the food out of the oven and prepping it onto the plate. Okay, Sheila's meatballs are now ready. There we go. That's meatballs from yesterday that she's had. She's now going to have the roasted vegetables to go with it. Now we go over to the oven and bring out the roasted veggies. Okay, here we go. Stand more back because there's going to be a lot of steam coming out of there. See, they're all nicely soft and done. There we go, see? Go back over, close the oven up. So there we go. Right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put my lighter life meal into the microwave and nuke it for 2 minutes. Okay, that's being nuked. So in the meantime, I'll pour Sheila's meatballs onto the plate. Okay, there we go. This is hers, and then obviously some bell pepper, nicely soft and brown. It's just going to melt in the mouth. Some croquette. It may look burnt. A bit of aubergine, nicely soft. Again, you can keep the skin on. Some onion, mushroom, and then finish it off with a sprinkle of crushed fresh coriander from the coriander plant out from outside. So this goes dinner number 1. So now, as mine's waiting to be nuked, which should be in a second, we go. So all this is probably about, on average, up to 200 calories, and it's all fresh under the Tier 1 Management Lighter Life diet. And like I said earlier, in the space of about 7 weeks, I've lost about 20 kilos, which for me is very good. I'm keeping busy, taking my mind off the urges and any temptations of eating the wrong food. So now this is important to me. So now I'm going to go over to the oven and get my microwaved Lighter Life meal out, and then put this on the plate. So there we go. Right, don't go away. Okay, here we go. One. Okay, put that onto the plate. Okay, one spaghetti. All right, put around that some sauce. There we go. One ladle full of sauce, which is plenty. Put that around the dish. I'll just put a speech spore on it. Remember, it's all fresh ingredients, all the allowed ingredients that were allowed on the Lighter Life. Now I'm going to put some aubergine in. One piece of aubergine. Bell pepper. My favourite, the mushrooms. I put all those in because I love my mushrooms. It looks a lot, but it will taste lovely. There we go. There, for your liking, is my meal. I'll put onto that some garnishing. And that is what we got left, and that could be saved for another meal. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, comment on it, share it, like it. Until next time, have a good evening and bon appetit.